Hey, everybody. Not sure where Brad is today. He must be out doing more yard work, but I'll see if I can carry the ball solo. Um, wow. So I wish he was here because I wanted to talk about this stuff. But, look, the equities are all looking good. Crypto seems to be holding, tailing off a little bit. I mean, to me, it seems that, that Fed seizure of with the Silk Route coins, that 3.3 billion looks like it's been moved to central exchanges. So I think that's the BTC selling pressure. And obviously, let me load up some links. I just honestly don't know where Brad is. Let me see what I was talking about. So when I look at the macro stuff today, again, US up right now. Asia was up last night. Europe looks up a little bit. But the interesting play, Nikkei futures are still up. But the interesting play to me is looking at BTC right now, as I said first, that 3.3 billion seizure. Everybody's saying it's out on the central exchanges now. So, I saw some selling, but I don't know if that's 100% true. But I'd say keep an eye on this because this might be that last leg down that everybody's been talking about. But in my opinion, it would be that deep V. It wouldn't be another lagging sideways thing sloping on down. Where the hell is Brad? And the other thing I thought was interesting was watching that whole fight between Sam and CZ. I didn't realize how much animosity there was there. I'm going to ping him right now. Brad would know much more about that than I do. So I want to get his butt in here. Brad. So, the other thing, we got elections coming up too. So in the U.S. midterms. So, that's going to be on everybody's, mind for the next couple of days. I really have I don't have a call there. But what I would say to everyone is that the most important thing is really just to go vote. No matter, there he is.
Awesome.
Get that lawnmower put away?
I did.
Good for you.
What's up, Chucky? Thanks, man. I appreciate giving me a little ring there.
Yeah. I figured, I don't know what you were doing, if you were like still drunk from last night or what. So.
Well,
But I was just talking about midterms for a second. And so I say to everybody is just, look, the point is to vote. Whatever side you support, it's just to go vote.
No, don't vote if you don't support the other side.
No, I believe everybody should vote. And the thing is, we know what the desired outcome we'd like, but look, this is a country about voting. And, you need to go do it. But remember when you're in there and you're in that voting booth, whether you're in, the Bronx or you're in Fargo, North Dakota, or, pick different places. When you go in there, nobody knows what you do. So say you're, a woman in Texas and you have concerns about, all the issues that have been talked about the last couple of months. Just because everybody in your family believes that, and maybe you don't, they don't know what you do in the voting booth. And it's the same way on the other side. If you're in like progressive areas and there's something you don't like and you like something else, nobody knows who you voted for. So just go in and vote for whoever you want that represents your interests, not what everybody else expects you to do. And this is a pretty significant election too. Midterms usually aren't, but this is one that you need to really think about what you want out of the next 2 years. And that's all I'll say. I'll be in there. I know what I'm doing, but I'm just me.
I mailed mine in. And if you think the last election was stolen, then why bother? It's okay. Stay home. Sorry, Joe.
No, I get that too. I find it all really super interesting though. Of course, I've been trying to engage with people on Twitter since, over the weekend, it turned into a total fucking hellhole. I didn't know people were still talking about vaccinations and shit.
Look at Sean. My ancestor died trying to stop you guys voting. It's okay not to vote.
I love it, man. I love it.
Ancestors died to prevent the right to vote.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of them came here too, after the potato famine and all that stuff. So,
but single issue voting, democracy is the only thing on the ballot. Couldn't agree more, my friend. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. But I think it's I mean, I'm just amazed at I don't want to, what's the right word here? Just how people, just the lack of awareness out there on so many things. And the reason why democracy is so important to this is that it's the only way to fight it out and argue without pulling guns out, basically, and storming, taking over government. So, we have to build that and we have to maintain it. That's our unique differentiator from the rest of the world. And I know in the past we were much better at it. But, now we have to really kind of think that. And again, I was watching football over the weekend. You guys know I love college football. It's not, they're not all
Jets. Let's talk.
They're playing for cheerleaders and future bank. So they go for it. They take initiative. And I love to watch it. And I watching that Georgia Tennessee game. And so, you got all the people in orange and all the people in red, and they're ready to brawl through the whole friggin' game. But when it's over, everybody comes together and shakes hands and it's done. Yeah. That's the way we were all raised. And so I just don't like all this like whining and crying about shit from the past and using that as an excuse to sort of try to take down the whole system. That's not going to happen. And, to me, it's like you can influence things, but the only way you can really influence is by talking and by voting, or giving money. And to me, I'm like, the only way you get what you want is by doing that. So you should go do it. If not, then contribute another way.
Yes.
Oh, so Brad, tell me about what'd you think about Twitter this weekend?
I was loving CZ even more this weekend.
Yeah, well, there was all that stuff out this morning too, where he came in again and pounded on FTX.
Fucking
and
beautiful.
And I basically tweeted to him. I said, "Hey, call Caroline, whatever the hell her name is, the Alameda lady. Call her bluff.
Yeah, take the money.
They don't have at 22. Take it all.
Yeah.
They don't have. I don't think they have the 2.3B or whatever the number is. But yeah, there it is. That's the tweet.
If they do, it's probably backed by borrowed. It's probably borrowed against FTX from what it looks like.
Yeah.
So CZ Binance announced they were liquidating their FTT this weekend. He said, liquidating our FTT is just post-exit risk management, learning from Luna. So
there you go. That's the big zinger right there. That's the zinger.
Let's read between the lines on that one. You motherfuckers are irresponsible as fuck, and we don't trust you not to screw this up, so we're dumping this shit. We gave support before, but we won't pretend to make love after divorce. We are not against anyone, but we won't support people who lobby against other industry players behind their backs. Onwards. So that could be a strike at him lobbying against DeFi, Sam, or that could be a strike because maybe their people have been bad-mouthing Binance in the lobbying circles in DC. Either way, this was fucking chef's kiss. I mean, this was just...
Yeah, that was a beautiful tweet there.
So then Caroline came in. Do I have those tweets?
When did she say that was it yesterday? She came in and goes, "Oh, I'll buy it." I looked at her. She's a Stanford math grad, so she's obviously
Alameda.
Smart. Yeah. But, again, these guys are in Hong Kong and zero transparency, basically. Yeah. So, I would be a little worried at this point.
Yeah. I wanted to download that video. I forgot. Shit. Okay. Yeah, I got some political ones out this weekend. I want to find the one where they tried to I'll find it in a bit. Anyway, she was trying to come out and say that there was more money than what I'll post a link to this video too, because this is a clip from the video debate between Eric Voorhees and Sam on Bankless. And basically, Eric gets Sam to, I was going to download this and load it in, but I can't. Eric gets Sam to say, yes, I would never block the freedom of email for particular things that might be dangerous. I would never want to circumvent that. And then Sam says, so what's the difference between that and finance? Why would you not block emails that could be dangerous for people, but you would block financial transactions that might be dangerous for people if they don't do it right. And Sam just completely stutters and can't respond. Just
Really?
can't. Oh my God. It's like embarrassing. It's excruciating. It's painful. Anyway, Caroline from Alameda, and I think she took over from Sam when Sam left his position.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she comes in and says, okay, that balance sheet circulating around is not accurate. We have more than another 10 billion. Yeah. 10 billion more in available. And I'm like, okay, but this was the vaguest response. Let me find that, because
let me point out one more thing there. When you make a statement like that, and then people find out that there is not $10 billion there, if there's $8 billion there, you just committed financial fraud.
Well, and here's what she said. She said, a few notes on the balance sheet info that has been circulating recently. That specific balance sheet is for a subset of our corporate entities. We have greater than 10 billion of assets that aren't reflected there. But notice there's no specifics. The balance sheet breaks out a few of our biggest long positions. We obviously have hedges that aren't listed. Given the tightening in the crypto credit space this year, we've returned most of our loans by now. So I said, so those 10 billion are other assets or just FTT and Sol? Because that was the whole thing everybody was pointing out, right? Look at this guy's response. Quadrillion lunk.
That's what I was laughing at.
What a classic. Wait, Sean's going off over here. I want to get him in.
Oh, yeah.
CZ is a scumbag. He knowingly started a bank run. This is a CZ play. The original article clearly pointed out partial balance sheet. CZ caused 1 billion withdrawals, all paid in real time from FTX. Disgusting play from ZZ. This war kills the space. Both CZ and SBF are shitcoiner of no interest to me, but this CZ play is BS. You know what? Yes, I would agree that the proper and classy way to handle this would have been to do an OTC deal behind the scenes, sell what you got, and then announce that you sold it and why. That would have been the better way. But I don't want to be a whatabouter. I will just say that Alameda and company and Sam have wrecked thousands and thousands of retail people with the way they play the game too. I'm not saying CZ is right in doing this. And this, Gabriel, one of the legal guys I follow, tweeted out that Shapiro? This is the, Shapiro, this is the absolute worst time for this to happen. Like if FTX or Alameda went under, this would be the absolute worst time to do it, because this is when, regulators are looking closely, right?
Right to hang people, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, he said, feels like people want FTX to be insolvent or trying to cause a bank run. Would be another major political regulatory black eye for the industry. Can we not? I said, I figured he'd get some negative replies on this, but he's right. I said, that said, if it happens, there is a strong DeFi transparency is better spin here, right? The fact is that this is, again, examples of centralized entities who have, the only reason we have this is somebody leaked a balance sheet from them, but an example of centralized entities that are not transparent, just like in traditional finance that isn't transparent, so that it gets to be a problem and it's too late once somebody like CZ does something like this, or like what happened with Terra or whatever. And when there's blood in the water, people are going to pounce. And when there's an opportunity for shorting the shit out of something and making a ton of money, people are going to do it because it's a market. But I think the problem with my idea of it being a spin of, yes, but decentralized is transparent, it's on the chain. The problem with that is the level of education it would require, right? What it would take to explain to policymakers, they're centralized, where this is not, this is on the chain. You can see it, it's transparent. You can see what's coming. You can see where the loan liquidation levels are. You can see who's borrowing what, et cetera, et cetera. But, end of the day, that's a big mountain to climb. Oh, wait. See, Sean says they are both nothing new to me, but this proof of reserve and insurance is the outcome already done by the non-shit coining exchanges. Yes. There should be proof of reserves in crypto exchanges, right? But that it should be that we are smart enough as users to demand it than having it forced on them by regulators would be my position.
Yeah, look, you can go find the projects that have that and invest in those projects. And you can also find the ones that don't have it. And if you like it or trust it or whatever, you can invest in those. It shouldn't be forced on the whole space. I agree.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, Joe, you're very agreeable today. I'm excited.
Well, I've been battling with vaxxers and Russians and stuff all weekend.
Have you? Oh, I didn't catch everything that's been going on with you this weekend.
Oh, no, it's
Were
all
you
good.
deep in the political weeds this weekend?
Well, I was discussing the Molotov-Ribbentrop Act of 1939 with the Russians, because they like to call everybody Nazis, and I was like,
were you really?
You guys, yeah, I go, you guys forget that you were partners with Hitler when you invaded Poland together.
Exactly.
And then somebody pointed out, then of course everybody was bitching about Poland, because they thought I was Polish or something. And then they pointed out that, but Poland was in on the German division of Czechoslovakia, which I did not know that.
I did not
know that. It kind of came back to where I just basically said, look, it's a total mess, but why are we talking about World War II and Nazis? Yeah. Nobody, it doesn't make sense. And so that's why, but then, if you talk to people, they start coming to your, you kind of come to the middle. So I had half these people that were pissed at me that in the end were like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And I was going, yeah. Oh yeah. Lab leakers. Yeah. That too. Yeah. God.
Niblet says anti-vaxxers, pro-Russian and lab leakers. Oh my. Well, while you were in the weeds, I was digging the weeds this weekend.
I saw that, man. I saw that.
My wife wants a fire pit patio thing. So
yeah, so daddy does what mommy wants. Smart.
You know what? It felt fucking good. I forgot how much I like working outside like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really forgot. And our yard is a total friggin' mess. So this will improve it. But I really forgot how much I love working.
You know what it is? It's that you see the progress.
Yep.
Most of the work we do in transactions or investments, there's never an end.
Yeah.
It just keeps fucking going, and it's in your head.
Exactly.
But here you go out, you use your muscles, you get some fresh air, you're in the sunshine. Yep. Your body reacts positively to that stuff. So yeah, no, that's super cool.
No, felt good. Let's see what else. Oh, that's another article on the Binance thing. Oh shit, I just closed that. That sucks. Hold on, I'll get that open again. But basically OpenSea is releasing, without a lot of specifics, unfortunately, tools to help creators enforce royalties on chain, which there's been quite a bit of debate lately about whether that's possible or not. And it's not. Like you could sell your NFT on an exchange that doesn't enforce that. OpenSea does, some others do. Others are saying, no, we're not enforcing royalties. And they're trying to attract people that want to sell and don't want to give up a percentage. How do I get this shit off screen?
Hey, next, when we go to I sent some links over on that.
I got them loaded.
Okay, the loaded. Silk Route stuff or Silk Road stuff. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I got those.
I want to see what you thought of that.
So anyway, I'm going to be very interested to see the details about how technically they're going to implement this, because OpenSea is essentially a centralized exchange, right? It's not, so it's very easy for them to enforce it. But they're now saying that they are going to help artists enforce on chain. So I'm excited to see that. I need to see some code or something. There were no links in this article, and I didn't really, to what they're doing. And I didn't really have a chance to go let me go look at the OpenSea website and see what they're doing. But they're claiming that they are developing multiple ways to enforce royalties, not just on OpenSea, on any on-chain exchange. So we'll see what happens. I don't know.
That should be really cool, because that was that's a big NFT problem.
Oh, it's huge. Well, and look, if you buy an NFT from an artist, then and you don't like the idea of royalties, then don't buy from artists that charge royalties, right? The artists want ongoing revenue stream from their art. And if that's their choice, then don't be an asshole. Just don't buy their art, right? I get it. You're a flipper or whatever. You're a deal maker and you just want to make money, but factor your 5% cut back to the artist or whatever it is into what you need to flip that for. Don't be a dick and fuck over the artists who are trying to have an ongoing revenue stream from their work. right? And I love the idea of royalties for artists. Like,
Me too.
Artists live in this constant hype cycle of constantly having to hype their shit in order. And I don't mean just NFTs. I mean, in real world, constantly having to build up a big profile and be seen as the next big thing in order to charge more and sustain income. Whereas with this, they don't have to spend all of their time constantly trying to push and boost their profile. So I really like that a lot.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like music. It's like Spotify, basically.
Exactly.
You pay for every time you listen to a song, essentially.
That's
Somebody
right.
does.
Exactly.
And that's the way it should be for NFTs too.
That's right. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And artists don't have the recording industry to enforce it, right? They don't have
like that digital rights management stuff, right?
Exactly. There's no, I mean, they can do it on chain eventually, but the point being that, artists have always been protected by the Recording Association or the big companies, Sony, RCA, et cetera. Artists have never had that. So I like it. So last week when I interviewed Haim Solomon on Mission DeFi, he brought up this thing called Eigenlayer. And when he talked to me, I had a generally vague understanding of what was possible with it. It sounded really impressive. Well, Meyer Bank, MEIRBANK, that's at Meyer Bank, wrote this awesome thread about what this is. And this is pretty fucking amazing. And this also has incredible potential to lock more into Ethereum. And I will tell you that Haim is pretty much, I mean, he didn't say he was a maximalist, but he seems pretty hardcore Ethereum only guy. Anyway, so what this does is it puts another layer onto Ethereum, but here's the core of what it does. It allows people, so if you're staking on Ethereum and you're staking 32 as a validator, right? So you're validating transactions as a validator on the Ethereum chain, right? You've got 32 Ethereum stakes. Well, all you're going to make is the Ethereum that comes through from transactions that you validate, which is 4 to 6% are the varying amounts that people are supposedly going to make, which is great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And if you're a believer in Ethereum and getting more Ethereum, then and you think its value is going to go up, then it's 4 to 6% might be nothing. It might be that you're going to have Ethereum that's gone up to 15,000 or 10,000, whatever. But this is really powerful because this allows people who are staking the 32 and validating the 32 ETH to also validate other protocols. So you could validate other applications. You could validate oracles. You could validate a decentralized RPC network to fully decentralize the infrastructure of Ethereum. And then you can be, as a validator, somebody that's earning even more from all kinds of applications that need validation on the chain. So this thing has a ton of potential to empower Ethereum to be even more powerful, because now app developers can make use of these validators to validate transactions or prices or whatever they need to validate. And he gives a ton of great, first he goes through and outlines any potential risks. You could be slashed if a particular protocol is very aggressive about slashing to protect their interests, whatever. So you've got to be careful if you're going to do this, but this is really powerful. It can validate for bridges. It can validate for, like I said, RPC rollups, can validate transactions being seeded onto the main chain. RPC nodes, app chains, so subchains that are being used for one particular app could be used for that. So you could have subchains on Ethereum. Oracles, data availability. So people that want to process data off or on chain, being able to use the validators to validate the data that's going off and on. Just there's a ton of potential capabilities here. This Eigenlayer, I think, is going to be really a big deal. And it makes me want to get further engaged in the validator staking market than I already am. So I'll put this link to this thread in the show notes and a link to my episode with Haim. But this has a huge potential, huge. So anyway,
how do you see it? I kind of didn't hear like the first part of what you said, but how do you see this like versus ZK Sync or Optimism sort of roll ups? This seems to be kind of doing something similar.
No,
it's hooking it up to the ETH chain, right?
No. So Eigenlayer is the ability for validators, the people who stake 32 ETH on Ethereum and are validating blocks,
Got it.
This allows them to stake the same 32 ETH, but also use it for transactional stuff on the chain. So like Chainlink with oracles validating price feeds for RPC nodes, validating those or being RPC nodes for bridges, liquidity validation. I mean, so what happens is now instead of your 32
just
ETH just earning ETH, you can now earn from these other protocols that need validation. And the protocols now don't have to build out an entire network of validators for their protocol. They can use the existing, hundreds and thousands of validators that are already on Ethereum. They can use them if those validators opt into it. So the way he talks about it is, and this actually makes a ton of sense, is that it becomes like an app store, right? Because if you're a validator, you can go and pick and choose the things you want to help validate with and double, triple, quadruple what you're earning from just being a validator for the main chain. So it empowers a lot of things, increases security, allows people to earn more. It's just a really powerful thing. It makes it easier for protocol developers that need validation kind of nodes available to them without having to find a bunch of people to be validators. Just a ton of potential. And for rollups, like you were talking about, it can be a validator for rollups, right? So when transactions are going to be written to chain, it can be there for it. So.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of when you were talking, but I didn't.
But it wouldn't be a layer 2. It's not a layer 2.
It just is in between them. Yeah,
correct.
It sort of functions a similar way, but not a separate network. But I like that. So you could have a node with like 32 ETH, and then you can become a validator on another ETH type project.
Yeah, so another protocol. So you could be a validator for Chainlink or Teller. You could be a validator for RPC nodes. You could be an RPC node.
So Phantom stuff or Avalanche stuff.
Well, not necessarily other chains.
Okay.
These would be protocols on Ethereum.
Got it.
So
okay.
Things like Chainlink, things that live on Ethereum. Now, there's nothing stopping Phantom or Avalanche for also implementing something like EigenLayer on their chains so that validators can make more. But the other thing this will probably do is people who've been validating on chains that may not have great TVL right now may say, you know what, why don't I come over to Ethereum with all this money, buy my 32E, validate, and then when EigenLayer comes on board, I'll get all of this other revenue, right? So it'll exceed the normal revenue you get just from being a staking validator for the chain. You now become a validator for a bunch of different apps.
Yeah, no, that's cool because it's sort of like, composability in DeFi. It's like you can add a little bit more of a turn on top, which what are they getting now? Like about 5.7% or something?
4 to 6%. I think it varies. Yeah.
So, look, you should probably be able to, I guess everyone you're validating for is probably going to be like a point or two would be my guess.
Oh, I would guess. And new ones will probably do heavier incentives,
right?
Because they need these validators and they need a mass of validators. So they're probably going to incent on the front end with even more. So they can get people that are in saying, yeah, I'm into it, right? Because you figure, okay, I'll get a nice boost at the beginning from this new project. I'll just stay in it because I don't have to, the beauty of it is I don't have to do anything. But the biggest risk is that you get slashed, right? So if there's, like Meyer talks about that, if there's a protocol that requires like 100% uptime, you probably don't want to be a validator for them because your VPS, your server could go down for 5 minutes and then you're going to get some of your ETH slashed, right? So you got to be careful about the things you choose to validate for and what their slashing requirements are. But there's just a ton of potential. And it opens the doors for a lot more things to be built on Ethereum that would require you to develop your own validator network, which is really hard. I mean, what's ETH at? $1,500, 32 ETH. That's a good chunk of cash. Like if you need, you may not need that big a chunk for each validator, but if you're launching a new protocol, you need a lot of wealthy people to come and set up a staking node. And then there's technical issues and it's a pain in the ass. Well, now once you get your 32 ETH set up, you can use them for all kinds of things, right? So they're saying that, EigenLayer is actually a company and that they'll probably have an app store and everybody can come in and say, I need a validator for this, whatever. So it's very cool.
Well, no, it fits the whole decentralization ethos. When you think about, we talk about price oracles and Streller and Chainlink, this is the same thing. It's like another data point in the whole chain but I love the fact that you can then take these nodes already loaded up and add more validator clients.
Exactly.
That is very cool.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of potential revenue there. So going to keep an eye on these guys.
Eigenlayer, right?
Eigenlayer, Eigenlayer. I'll put it up on the I'll put it on the show notes as well.
I'm just going to follow him on Twitter real quick.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great find, dude.
Yeah, it's cool shit. Now, thanks to Haim. Haim brought it up to me, and then I happened to catch this this thread, really well written thread by Meyer, explaining how it works. So I had a much better understanding of it after that.
Nice.
So, oh yeah, here she is on her balance sheet tweet. I already talked about that. Oh, Beefy's now on Ethereum. I actually didn't realize they weren't Ethereum. So I guess that's pretty big news. So you can go do your compounding on Beefy over on Ethereum mainnet now. I had never tried, so I didn't realize they weren't there. I would have always assumed they were, but they're not. I mean, they are now. So real quick, new product called GasHawk. Basically, it's a predictive tool that you use their RPC node. There's no security risk here. The biggest risk is that they don't send your transaction, but they used historical intelligence and what's going on in the queue and what's going on with MEV and I mean, not MEV, but what's going on with the queue and the network and everything. And if you submit a transaction, they will optimize the time that transaction gets sent based on predicting when the lowest gas fees will be. So if your biggest concern is that the transaction have low gas fees, if you swap out for their RPC node, you'll then get the ability to use their system that'll automatically try to find the lowest gas fee transactions for you. This guy said he tested it, said he didn't say how long, but so far he saved 35% Ether on his transactions. So yeah,
that is cool. You know, I haven't thought about gas fees in a long time.
Yeah,
ever since Polygon showed up, man.
well, here's the thing though, too. When more and more protocols start deploying on Ethereum, and then when the bull run starts again, right? When we come out of it, those fees are going to go back up again. So something like that, that's when these tools will shine. You know, they're building now, but they're really going to shine once they, but look, you know, saving 35% off of what you would have had to spend, 35% go somewhere else. SEC issued subpoenas to influencers that were promoting Hex, Pulse Chain, and Pulse X. You remember who this is?
Oh, I know. That's your boy, Richard Hart, right?
That's my buddy, Richard Hart, man. I'm
telling you, you ought to dress like him, dude. You in like a Gucci little body glove suit. I mean, that would just be too much. You'd be rocking it down in Pinecrest, man.
Yeah, boy. That'd be lovely. Lovely. So I think
the Miami look, right?
Yeah. This is going to be an impact. So what did Eamon said, why everyone's rugging FTX besides Alameda having a lot of FTT? Why is everyone rugging it? I think everybody's freaked out that that's all that's supporting Alameda, and that if they get called due on a debt or anything bad happens with it, some Alameda investment, that all of that FTT is going to get liquidated because they've borrowed against it at extreme levels. So I think what people are doing are saying, well, fuck it, I don't want to even be in this thing if it's dangerous, right? So that's tanking the overall price at this time.
There's also and there's also some payback for the regulatory stuff, I think.
Yeah, but here's the problem. I mean, what Eamon says is right. It seems like FTX is heading to a disaster. Like here's the thing. The thing that people are doing to run from it is actually what could cause the total fucking meltdown and liquidation. Yeah. But you can't. I mean, people are gun shy after fucking Terra. Nobody's going to wait and see what happens.
It's a total analog for 3AC and Lunk, basically.
Exactly.
Everybody's like, wait, is this the same thing? I don't think it is, but I think that Alameda needs to be more transparent.
They're down. They're down like $3.20 from a couple of days ago. I'm not seeing like. I mean, that's a drop, but it's not like.
But has CZ started dumping the FTT yet?
I don't know. I hope CZ does the right thing and does an OTC deal.
Well, his responsibility to his, stakeholders is to get the maximum price for it. So a dump is a breach of fiduciary duty to his. Yeah,
you would think. People. Yeah. And he said he was going to do it over months. He said he wasn't going to do it all at once, that they were going to do it over several months. So Eamon says, but FTX isn't going to be impacted by that. Well, I mean, it's their token, FTT. I don't know how badly FTX, the exchange, will be impacted. If it does nothing else, if it draws people's attention. Oh, he says Alameda has a strong bid. Sean says Alameda has a strong bid at 22. Let's see. He says, yeah. Sean says, Eamon says, yeah, like the exchange will be okay if Alameda goes broke. He did start dumping. So yes, you would think the exchange would be fine, but when it's the core token of the exchange, I don't know what would happen. But yeah, it should be. My goal is,
unless people are pulling money out right now.
Well, like I think that's what's happening.
Yeah,
I think I saw some tweets earlier saying that there's been a huge delay on withdrawals at FTX. So people are a little freaking out. But I think Eamon's point is, people, why are you bailing on the why would you be bailing on the exchange when the exchange, it's Alameda that could go broke, not the exchange? I think that's his basic point.
Yeah, no, look, you make it a self-fulfilling prophecy then.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know who's short and what where at this point either. I mean, that's the thing. You kind of see that in TradeFi. You can tell who's shorting for the most part. I mean, there are ways to hide it, but for the most part, but here we just don't know. So is it other people spinning FUD up and then shorting? Is it that kind of, that's a classic play. Everybody does that.
Sure.
Or is it something more? I tend to think that Sam has a lot of good advisors around him. I'm not so sure about the Alameda part because I just don't really know them.
Sean said no delay on withdrawals, none. 1 billion withdrawn in 12 hours. That's FUD. That's weird because I saw like a stream of tweets, so people are just FUDing them. So that is not true according to Sean. Luna Classic has 2 times the market cap of Luna. Not sure what lesson is there. Just weird dynamics. Eamon said just tagged you on Twitter on CZ's first dump. Oh, let's check it out. Let's check it out. Oh yeah. What the fuck?
What did he sell?
Selling 23 million. He's got a shit ton more than that, but still, you're right. There's the first one. Wow. CZ is not fucking around.
How many does he have total? Was it 500 million of them?
I think, 500 million worth, I guess.
Oh, worth. Okay.
So let's see what he said. Hold on. Let me close this. Where'd it go? Oh no, 2.1 billion.
Yeah.
That's a lot to unload.
Have any of you guys listening been? I know we're going to go to the next one in a second, which is the Silk Route seizure one, right?
I think so.
I just want to see if anybody's seeing BTC dumping hardcore anywhere. That's what I'm trying to find out.
Nah, I haven't seen that either, and I don't know what the fuck. I mean, we're off a little bit today, but there's nothing.
I saw some dumps in there, but
20,700, 15A. This is where we've been all fucking week. We just had a nice little run on Friday. I mean, it's not like Eamon says 13 billion. CZ needs to be very careful. Anyone who fucked with Alameda in the game of trading got their asses handed to them. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think in pure financial capabilities of Binance, Alameda is like a gnat on their ass. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, there's something kind of peculiar there too, of course. When you look at their management team and their leadership, I don't want to call it like a one-trick pony or whatever, but I just, we all made a ton trading. Okay. We all make tons in the bull market trading, but what I don't see there is all the support around it, and I don't see risk management in place there. Now, I don't have full visibility, but I see everybody talking about it and people have aggregated all their wallets. And then Caroline jumps in and says, well, that's not all our wallets. And then somebody goes, well, give us the other ones too. And then it disappears. Yeah. So to me, I'm like, I don't know. I would just say, be careful.
Yeah.
I don't know these people, but I don't know.
So the U.S. attorney announced the historic $3.36 billion cryptocurrency seizure. Evidently, this guy, James Zhang, stole how many was it? 50,676 Bitcoin from Silk Road.
Wow.
And they traced him down. He was trying to hide it, trying to disguise it. Evidently, they traced it down. They seized the 50,000 Bitcoin, and then he pled guilty last Friday.
He's in Gainesville, Georgia?
Gainesville, Georgia.
Holy shit. I've been there a few times.
Really?
It's close to Athens.
Okay. I'm trying to find out what he was charged with.
Oh, see, I thought this was tied to the original issue. I didn't realize this was a new one. It was just somebody.
Well, he stole this, way back when from Silk Road. I just don't know how he did it.
Okay, he created a string of approximately 9 Silk Road accounts in a manner designed to conceal his identity, triggering over 140 transactions in rapid succession in order to trick Silk Road's withdrawal processing system into releasing approximately 50,000 Bitcoin from its Bitcoin-based payment system into Zhang's accounts, and C, transferring this into a variety of separate addresses also under Zhang's control, all in a manner designed to prevent detection, conceal his identity, and ownership obfuscate. I mean, he probably went through tumblers too.
Yeah, so they're charging.
They're
charging him from stealing from an illegal entity. That's interesting. Like, if I stole from the drug dealer on the street corner, can I be charged for stealing from the drug dealer? I guess I can.
Yeah, you can. But this is what I find interesting. This is like just a basic hack or a basic game the system or a basic figure out how to take it. But when you start, the tricky thing is when you start moving financial assets around that you stole, then you get into all the other shit, the wire fraud and, all those other things that, have big, heavy sentences attached to them. So to me, this is just a criminal dude who stole it, basically. I don't think it's anything to do, in my mind. So it's not like a case against Silk Road. It's more about that.
They took all his money.
And he's in the U.S., so it's easier for them.
But pled guilty to 1 count of wire fraud, which carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison.
So you know what that means? You send an email with a fraudulent prospectus in it or something in it that is proven to be fraudulent that you didn't even know about. That is wire fraud. I mean, that's what they're going to say. And and look at the penalty on wire fraud, 20 friggin' years.
Yeah.
If you go into a bank with a gun and rob it, I think it's 7 years.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
So, you just have to be careful.
Yeah.
Because one
man's Eamon says they're going to give it back to the rightful owners now. Yeah, the federal government. Yeah, they think the rightful owners is the federal government.
Yeah, they do.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
Well, what I'm worried about that is just there was other data showing stuff going on, sexes or whatever on exchange, and I was wondering if that was valid.
Yeah.
Because I'm tying it into what Sean and, who's your guy at Material Indicators, the guy in Switzerland? What's his name? Fred. With Sean and Fred talking about the deep V and the fractal and all of that. I started thinking maybe this is what it does. This does that, But again, if there's an Alameda FTX issue too,
Yeah. So Elon got pissed this weekend.
Kathy Griffin?
Not just Kathy Griffin. Everybody was putting Elon Musk in as their name. Now, this is the guy. Man. This is the guy that said nobody should be permanently suspended, and then gets so pissed that everybody's making fun of him that he starts permanently suspending them. It's like, dude, seriously? Like, you're just losing.
So everybody's going to go Elon Musk parody? Is that your next name?
Yeah, now you have to put parody next to it in order to not get banned permanently. So, look, I'm all for protecting people from people being scamming, but he's such a man baby. Sean said he tagged me in the latest with a Bitcoin Jesus connection. Oh, I got to see this shit. In March 2017, Bitcoin Talk user Loaded signed a message from an address with 40,000 Bitcoin asking to do a 1-to-1 swap for Bitcoin Unlimited with Roger K. Ver. It now appears these funds have been seized. So those funds he was trying to swap with Roger with were this guy that got busted.
Oh, it's the same dude, Zhang. It's Zhang.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, absolutely. That's great. Niblet said, "Don't forget to make your avatar a blue check."
I love that one, man. That's great.
Did you have any of these others that were important, Joe? I got to wrap. I got a 1 o'clock.
No,
so
that was the main one I wanted to get through. We've already talked about Twitter, and we talked about this Silk Road stuff, and we talked about the other things. I think we're good.
Cool.
Let's just start winding it down. Let me just do a quick, while you talk, I'm going to do a quick macro check here.
While I talk? Okay. I'm talking now. Now, listen, thank you, Eamon, Niblets, Sean. Anybody else today? Eamon, Niblets, Sean, thank you so much for participating, joining us, and giving us great information and correcting me when we're wrong. I appreciate that. Really, really do appreciate it. I don't want to be a spreader of fake FUD. So I hope everyone has a fantastic day. Everybody that votes the right way, get out and vote tomorrow if you haven't voted yet.
The right way? The correct way.
The correct way. Yeah, not the right way. You're right. Good point, Joe. Very good point. If you believe it was election fraud, nothing's changed since the last election fraud. So, maybe
all you can do is vote.
Yeah.
That's all.
If you like what we're doing, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Please click the subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube, click the little bell so you get alerts, and click the thumbs up. Please click the thumbs up. Helps boost us in the algorithm when YouTube knows you like what we're doing. So appreciate you all. Love you. Hope everyone has a great afternoon/evening. I hope the guys over at Alameda survive the week, and we'll see what happens. Joe, have a great one.
You too. Thanks, everyone. We'll macro's looking okay. Nikkei futures are up. Equities are holding pretty well. It's just, I think it's all about BTC today. But I think
tomorrow is going to have an impact on the macro. We'll see what happens.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no.
And we won't know for a few days anyway, but still.
For what?
Well, it's funny. I just what the election results probably.
No, some of them are going to runoffs. I think.
Yeah. Some will go into runoffs, and some we just won't have all the counts in because a lot of states don't count the mail-ins until after the election. Like Florida counts them before, so they can start releasing them tomorrow night, but other states don't. So that's why we end up with the mess we had last time, was that they were still counting votes for days. I read an article that said Brazil, despite a huge percentage of the right wing there claiming election fraud and screaming and yelling, they were prepared for it. And the elections are governed by a central election authority court. And so they went through and publicly, transparently checked everything in their systems and made sure everything was correct. And the results were known within an hour of the polls closing because there's only digital voting in Brazil. So it staved off all the controversy around it because the court, vouched for everything checked out correctly on the tech. And the results were in that night. And that makes the difference.
But the more important thing, I tweeted about this, is that once those results came out, then all of Bolsonaro's party leadership got together and went on TV and conceded the election without him. So they forced him to accept the concession. So 2 days later, then he had to come out and say, okay, let's do the transition. And then the protest sizzled. But, that's what
country over party. Country over party.
It's again, I talk about we fight and brawl all the time, but at the end of the day, you got to come together. You got to say, I'll beat you next time. And not whine and cry. I mean, I saw somebody whining about, who's that guy, Bianco or whatever? Yeah, that too, Sean, CPI Thursday.
Yeah.
We're leading up to that. We'll cover a lot on that tomorrow. But, he's like whining about the Phillies and, the Astros, how they're a bunch of cheaters and this and that, from 5 years ago. And I'm like, dude, this is when you say, great game, we'll get you next year. And you move on. You don't sit here whining about stuff that you can't do anything about.
That's right.
So
that's right.
So whatever happens, it happens.
Cool.
You participate or you don't. And things keep going. So everybody have a great day. You too, Brad. And
you too, buddy. I'm going to go get a sandwich before my 1 o'clock call.